Okay, so next we're going to look at sumif and sumifs. Alright, so this is over here on the right hand side. Now as I'm scrolling across here, I'm losing my little table here, so I want to keep that in view at all times. So I'm just going to go to cell F2 and then go to view, okay, and freeze panes. So when I scroll across, my table should now be in view on the left, and it is. Alright, so first of all I'm going to look at the total salary of all workers working in the QA department. So basically I'm going to check this column here, and for every QA worker I'm going to add up their salary. Right, so I'm going to use what's called the sumif function. So it's equal to sum if. So the range I'm going to sum is actually this area here, right, the sum range. But I need to check out my criteria first. So I'm looking at this range here. Alright, that's that point. What criteria am I checking for? I'm checking for if that person works in QA, right? So that's actually in cell N4. My formula is actually blocking it at the moment, so N4. And what am I going to do? Once I've found that you are in the QA department, I'm going to sum your salary. Alright. So the combined salary of all those people working in QA is 216,422. Right? And then there's the sales and the R&D. Okay. The total salaries of all workers that are older than 35. So again, I have just one criteria here, so I can use sumif. So the range I'm looking at is the age range. And what's the criteria? Well, I'm going to check for anybody who is older than 35, so inverted commas, greater than, I'm just going to say greater than or equal to 35. Right? Because once you turn 35, you're older than 35. And I'm going to add up your salary. Alright, so sum if the age is greater than 35 and add up that person's salary. So the total salary for all workers aged 35 and over is 380,817. The total salary of all workers that are aged between 42 and 55. Now in this instance I'm looking at two different criteria. So if you're 42 or over, and if you're 55 and under, I'm going to total that salary and see what I get. So here I have is equal to sum ifs, plural. Now the sum ifs kind of flicks things around a bit. First of all, we're going to look at the sum range. So the sum range here is the salary, right? And then I'm going to apply my criteria. So the criteria range 1 is if somebody is 42 or older. So if your age is greater than or equal to 42. And the second criteria, range 2, is if your age is less than or equal to 55. And I get a value of 170,610. Right, so there's my formula. The next question, total salary of all workers with last name beginning with M. So it's similar to the COUNTIF. So is equal to sum if, there's only one criteria, the range here is the last name range. The criteria doesn't begin with M, so it's M asterisk. And what am I adding up? The salary. So that's my answer. That's my formula. The total salary of all workers aged 30 to 40 working in management. So here I have more than one criteria. In fact, I have three criteria: greater than or equal to 40, greater than or equal to 30, less than or equal to 40, and working in management. So I'm going to have to use some ifs. So the total salary, the sum range then, is going to be the salary. So get the salary if the criteria range 1. So the criteria range 1, I'm looking at a person's age. What do I want to check? I want to check if their age is greater than or equal to 30, right? And if their age is less than or equal to 40. Less than, I have to use my inverted commas, less than or equal to 40. And then the last criteria, I want to check if the department they are working in is management. Right, so there's my formula. If you're aged between 30 and 40 and your department is management, I want to see what your total salary for those people is. So sum the salary if the age of the person is greater than or equal to 30, less than or equal to 40, and they work in management. The total salary of all workers excluding those in R&D and accounting. Right, so again I have two criteria, so it's sum ifs. So right, total somebody's salary, so first thing is salary if, right, if they do not work in accounts, right, so if the department is not accounts, so open inverted commas, not ACCOUNTS, right, and I want to exclude the R&D people also. So if your department is R&D, I'm not counting your salary. Whoops, I forgot to put in a not, or and D. Close inverted commas, close the brackets. And the total is 765,242. Okay, so that's count if, count ifs, sum if, sum ifs.